Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Mind Out, Mind Up. So, as you guys know, for these past couple of episodes, my focus has been on gender dysphoria, or as society likes to call it, transgenderism. Now, you got a lot of passion from me in my opening statement, which was the first episode, where I was telling you about different conversations that I had with individuals who generally fall on opposite sides of the political spectrum, um, telling me how they had conversations with transgenders. One conservative that I knew spoke to a transgender for Trump who identifies as a conservative. Now, not to reiterate the whole episode, but with that particular case, I had said that there was no such thing. Transgenders are antithetical to faith. There's no way they could be conservative. Period. I don't care if they are Republican. Just because you're Republican does not make you conservative. You can be trans and be Republican because you believe that government shouldn't dictate whether or not you should have a surgery or not, the same way Republicans feel like government shouldn't dictate what decisions we choose to make in our personal lives. That's in alignment with conservative ideals, but it doesn't make them a conservative. They are antithetical to faith, and it's that particular principle that's why they will never be a conservative. Then there was another conversation that I had with a liberal Christian who was also telling me that as Christians, we need to be accepting, we need to be tolerant, not to judge. That's hogwash. As a Christian, you're supposed to push back on it. Period. You be polite by telling them, listen, you need a shrink. I think you need to go get some help. My second episode, I was telling you how we were going to start to see some changes in our laws. I cited a specific case in Connecticut, right, with the CIAC and how they created a trans policy and how that policy is basically just laws that are already on the books combined with a few additional words, right? Gender identity, right? Basically saying if an individual identifies as a female, they have every right to participate with female sports. They use laws that are already on the books to do such a thing. I went in depth about that in yesterday's episode and how this would continue to happen if we keep normalizing this, right? Because that's what's to blame. I remember just after talking to my producer, when we finished shooting that episode, we kept thinking, how the hell did we even get here? How the hell did we get from accepting, homosexuals in society, right? Allowing them to get married because separation of church and state, the government has to stay out of marriage. So fine, let them have it. How did we get from allowing gays to get married to normalizing gender dysphoria as a gender? How the hell did we get here? And then we started to think back. It's like, well, who was the first one to do this? Who was the first one to come out? And that takes us to Bruce freaking Jenner. Bruce Jenner. Mr. Kardashian, as I like to call him, right? Because she wore the pants in the marriage. No pun intended, right? Because apparently he was sneaking around wearing his women's girdle, his wife's girdle. I don't know if it was a girdle. I know he was caught wearing some of her clothes, though. But that's not new for him. That's not new for Bruce. It is not. Now, before I go in depth as to what, made him go this route, I want to tell you how accepting his hogwash, accepting his gender dysphoria as a gender, normalized it for the rest of society. It did. Because there were so many more cases like his popping up in Hollywood. In Hollywood. This is what we were getting from Bruce Jenner. This is what he incentivized. This is what he inspired. And they give him a freaking ESPY award for courage. Now, understand something, folks. Living in a delusion is not courageous. It's crazy. It is crazy. You know what would have been courageous is if he came out and said, listen, I am suffering. I believe that I should be a woman. There's something wrong. I need help. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. All I know is that something is wrong, that I am believing something that isn't reality, and I don't like it. That would have been courageous. Because to admit to someone that a grown-ass man, big buff American Olympian, is suffering from a mental health disorder that's making him feel, right? Making him feel like a woman is embarrassing. And no matter who you come forward to, whether it's the press or a mental health professional, it is embarrassing as this big ass buff man. But that would have been more courageous than what he actually did. Like that's all he did, you guys. Like this was not courageous. He gets an ESPY award. He gets an ESPY award? For what? You're not a woman. You are not a woman. Just because you're walking around with long hair and lashes and lipstick, which he wears terribly, does not make you a woman. You will never have a woman experience, Bruce. Ever. You know why you'll never have a real woman's experience? Because you never had certain conversations that young ladies get when they're growing up. Okay, so yeah, we know that you were going through some things when you were a child. So before I go more in depth about that, because I'm about to go off on Bruce Jenner. So before I go off on it, let me give you a little more context by running this clip for you first, just so you guys have an idea as to where I'm going with this. So let's roll that clip for them.
The Secrets of My Life, Caitlin revealed that at age 10, she started wearing her mother's dresses in private. She would carefully mark where she had taken each piece of clothing or accessory so they could be returned to the proper place and her secret would be safe. Caitlin wrote that even at this young age, her life had become a sealed box. And over time, the sides would become even higher and ultimately impossible to scale. At the time, she didn't know why she felt compelled to do these things. And the lack of available information led her to feeling increasingly isolated. She admits to feeling.
You guys, that's fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But excuse my language. But that was hogwash. Before I even talk about Bruce, did you hear the narrator? The narrator picked images of this big, buff man with lipstick, and you're calling him a she because he got lipstick on, because he feels that he's a she. Hogwash. Hogwash. Now, in that clip I just showed you, right, the narrator had explained that when he was a little boy, that he used to go into his mother's closet, take her accessories, put these little markers so that way she would never know that he was borrowing it, right? So he was running around his mother's house as a 10-year-old boy in a dress. In a dress. Right? Now, understand something to give you more context, right? Bruce Jenner suffers from dyslexia. He struggled in school education-wise. He claims that, because of his failings in education, sports really got him through it. And that's why he found such solace in it, right? That's why he went for it. But here's what I just said. He's suffering from dyslexia. This is another disorder that he is suffering from. It has something to do with his brain not processing, his visuals properly. So there's already a problem in his brain. The woman also said, the female narrator also said that he didn't know who to turn to and there wasn't any information available. You're right. Considering Bruce Jenner is 150 years old, he's old as hell. Considering the time period that he was growing up in, I'm sure there was no information about gender dysphoria. They were looking at homosexuals like they were crazy and were throwing them into asylums. So how dare a little boy, suffer from this kind of a mental health issue? Because they would throw you in an asylum then, and they would treat you with the same brutality that they did the homosexuals back then. I understand not coming forward to your parents then, because you're afraid of what the outcome would be, right? But he was suffering from one mental disorder, which was his dyslexia, his brain not being able to process his visuals properly. He's already had that. And not having proper treatment as a child, when he gets older and he's dealing with more stressful things like a marriage or like raising children because he failed epically as a father, you just got to talk to his older kids. He couldn't cope. He could not cope. Period. And he became a woman. Because he felt that that was the bravest thing he could do. No, admitting that you were suffering from gender dysphoria probably would have sent the country down a different path, right? We would actually start to acknowledge that people do suffer from gender dysphoria, that we wouldn't treat them the way that homosexuals were treated back then. There'd be an actual conversation as to how to properly treat this disorder. But that's not what happened. No, you embraced the delusion, Bruce, and then won a freaking ESPY award for it. And then they celebrated it. You, and Lord knows why, you're not attractive as a woman. I mean, you weren't already, when you were younger, as a younger Olympian man, you were all right. You're not my cup of tea, but I'm sure someone found you attractive. I mean, you had mad children before, you married Chris. You were someone's cup of tea. But now look at you. Now you're just this most unattractive, masculine looking woman who couldn't even be a bodybuilder if he wanted to, because that's what you are. And I'm not living in your damn delusion. I'm not living in the elitist society's delusion. I'm not with it. You started this whole thing. And after you, Laverne Cox popped up, and it was like, what the hell? Now, let me be honest with you guys. When Laverne Cox first showed up on the scene, I just thought Laverne was an ugly ass woman. You know, I mean, because she's a black woman who looks fake, right? No offense, black women, but you know, with all these reality TV shows and y'all with the plastic surgery and fighting all the time on television, on reality shows, it was believable that Laverne was just an ugly ass woman who was trying to make it in Hollywood. It was believable. Then I found out that she was a he, and it was like, what the hell? Well, that makes more sense. That makes sense. Why he looks like this? Why he looks like a man in drag? But God, why does she look so ugly? Like, why is that face so big and her muscles just, she trying to have an Angela Bassett body and just not turn out right? Like, that's where I was coming from, because I didn't even know that Laverne was a man. I just thought, again, because you do have these ugly ass black women on reality television that look like that, and they're actual women. So I was trying to be, you know, common sense wise. Then it comes out that there's a transgender on Orange is the New Black, and they pull up Laverne Cox, and it's like, well, that makes more sense. Laverne comes out into Hollywood, and Hollywood rewards her with the freaking, they reward her with an Emmy Award nominated part role. I think he's been nominated. I don't even think so. I think even the Emmys don't even want to go there. I think they don't even want to go there. I mean, come on. Really think about it. I mean, seriously, what did you think? That we just wouldn't have issue, that the rest of the country wouldn't take issue with Hollywood promoting this? And then Laverne does an interview with Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly, I freaking love her. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if conservatives don't like her. I don't give a damn if liberals don't like her. I love her. But I disagree with what she did with Laverne in that interview. And I can say it. That's me being impartial, you guys. That is me saying that no matter how much I love Megyn Kelly, I disagree wholeheartedly on how she approached that interview. She should have hit back harder. Laverne had said that when I was a little boy, I was attracted to other boys. So then why not just grow up to be gay? Right? When I was a kid, I was a tomboy. I didn't like playing with dolls. I didn't like Barbies that much. I mean, yeah, when I was a little girl, I had Barbie Jeeps, but I had an older brother in the house. I play wrestled. I played sports. I preferred being around boys because girls like to be catty and bully each other all around. I preferred it. My parents thought that I would grow up to be a gay, that I would grow up to be a lesbian. That's what my family thought. Not, oh man, Asia's a tomboy. I think she's meant to be a boy, Mom. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think she's gonna, when she hits like 16, Mom, she's gonna come home and say, Mom, I think I'm supposed to be a boy. That's not what happened. No one ever predicted that. They might have thought that I'd be gay, but never did they think that I was gonna come home and say I was supposed to be the opposite freaking sex. Ever did they say that. And this is what happened. You start normalizing cuckoo cachoo-ness, and then this is what happens. People across the country are saying that I'm meant to be a freaking transgender, and people don't want to step up against it. Parents don't know how to deal with it because, like Bruce Jenner said, there was no information around to deal. And you know what? It's not that there isn't information around, because there is, but it's false information. Like the news today, it's false. Instead of telling parents that their child might be suffering from gender dysphoria, you're telling them that they might be transgender, and that's wrong. If a parent whose child comes home and says, Mom, I think I want to be called she when he was born a boy, when I, the parent, go on Google, what do I do? Google, what do I do? Or okay, Google, because, you know, voice activated. Okay, Google, how do I deal with this? How do I deal? Google and all these places where you get information is supposed to tell you what is actually wrong with the child, not feed into the delusion, buy into the delusion, accept that your child is supposed to be a tranny. No, not okay. Because you know what we're seeing, right? Bruce Jenner, Laverne Cox, and then what happened? I'm going to tell you guys a story about a parent who is a white woman. Now, I'm a conservative. You guys know this about me. I don't really buy into the race dating, identity politics thing. But when I saw this story, I mean, it happened a year ago, so this isn't new. I had feelings about it then, but I haven't come forward about how I felt about transgenderism because I was so focused on Donald Trump. But now I think it's time that I bring it up. I say something about it. Charlize freaking Theron, a woman who can identify as an African American. She's from South Africa. She's a legal immigrant here, been here for more than 14 years. She's a citizen. She's an African American raising a black child, right? I remember it was so taboo that she was raising a little black boy. It was taboo. Here's another white actress with a black child. That's what the story was when she first had the kid, when she first got the kid. 1 year later, right? Because she went on The View talking about how it was like raising a black son. 1 year later after that, she's back on The View talking about how she's now raising a little girl. Oh, wait, Charlie's got another black kid? That's what I thought. When she said that she was raising a daughter, I thought she went out and adopted another black child. No, it's the same baby. It's the same baby. Just now she's raising the child as from a boy to a girl. Here's my problem, folks, with that. I don't play the race baiting game. I don't like the identity politics. But as a black woman, I take issue with a white woman deciding that she's no longer raising a young black man. This is one of these Hollywood elitists who believe in toxic masculinity. One of those elitists that agree with abortion and I'm sure she has the same sentiment as Anne Hathaway. Well, if we continue to allow to abort our babies, well, then there'll be less criminals. Well, here you are who believe that toxic masculinity is too aggressive. It's too violent. It'll destroy our society. So instead of raising your son to be a good, decent man, you just wipe away all of everything that makes him a young boy because you decide or because she decides. That's hogwash. Let's roll that clip. I just want to roll it. She went on The View and she was bitching and moaning about a pronoun that Joy used. Let's just pull up the clip so you guys can see it.
Michelle Starr admits she's always learning when it comes to parenting.
That makes me rethink all of it.
Including what pronouns to use for her child, Jackson, who was assigned male at birth. Quote, "My daughter's story is really her story, and one day, if she chooses, she'll tell her story. I feel like as a mother, for me, it was important to let the world know that I would appreciate it if they would use the right pronouns for her."
Did y'all hear that bullshit? Did you hear? That made me mad. What the hell? The right pronouns for her. You mean a little boy? I take issue with this. You're so afraid of toxic masculinity that you've decided that you're going to prevent him from ever being masculine, from ever being a young man, from going into a decent man, and a black man at that. Black women, why aren't y'all mad? Y'all the same one who want to be playing the race game and the identity politics, and here it is in your face. And when it's actually valid, right? When you have a valid reason to be upset with a white woman over a black issue, she's raising a black child incorrectly. Incorrectly, she's doing this. This is a valid reason to be upset with the white woman. And when you don't take it, now I think you're all just a bunch of ignoramuses. Because here it is in your face. She's a white woman raising a black boy as a black girl. You should be mad about that. I'm mad at that. And again, I'm conservative. I don't buy into the race baiting. I don't really give a crap about any of the identity politics that the left try to push. But in this case, here you have a white woman who believes that there's such a thing of toxic masculinity, and to stifle it from this young black man, she decides to cut it off at the knees and raise him as a woman. Her history with men is terrible. I just found this out. I remember I was having a conversation with my producer, and she was telling me about Charlize Theron's history with men. Like, what bad history with men? Oh yeah, her mother killed her father right in front of her, and then took her to see Fatal Attraction. Wait, what did you just say to me? Yeah, her mother killed her father in front of her, and then after committing the murder, took her to see Fatal Attraction. Well, maybe not right after, but the point is her first movie was Fatal Attraction after watching her mother murder a man, her own father. She has issues. And now we're in a society that's preaching toxic masculinity. So now she's got to stifle that, keep a black man from getting it, right? Because she's probably believing the hype that these race baiters play, that black men are under attack, that they're under assault by the police. So maybe I should stop my child from becoming a black man and maybe he won't get shot dead. Or that's ignorance, or she's afraid of the toxic masculinity, so she's got to stifle his masculinity before he can actually grow into it. It's one of those two reasons. None are good ones. None are justifiable. All I see is a white woman raising a black boy as a woman, as a girl, simply because she don't like him. And she doesn't like him. None of these parents who are allowing their child to do these things to themselves love their child. I don't care what they say. This bullshit about, oh no, my daughter will have to tell her own story. That I hope the rest of the world uses the correct pronouns. No. In fact, we're more angry with you, the white chick raising a black boy as a girl. I'm more upset with you. This is a valid reason to be upset with the white woman, and y'all don't want to take it. No, she's supporting her child. She's supporting her child. You know another parent in Hollywood that's killing me? Because I said the name yesterday in my episode yesterday, Dwayne freaking Wade. And he's worse than Charlize because you're a black man. You are a black man. Let's pull that clip up. Like, he went on Ellen, you guys, and he was talking about how my son is now this. Just watch.
Zaya has received strong support from Wade and his wife, Gabrielle Union, including firing back at what they call the social media hate from people who attacked Zaya's appearance in this family photo. Wade admitted to Ellen DeGeneres they didn't have all the answers when Zaya first approached them.
That was our job.
Like, what? That's ridiculous. So one day your son comes home from school and tells you, hey, Dad, so I want to be a girl. I want to be called she. Don't call me what you named me as. Call me Zaya or whatever the hell his name is now. You know, what's worse is that I hope I hope his ex-wife gets custody and takes her son to get the proper treatment. Because how dare you tell my son that it's okay to live in a delusion? Woman, go in there and get your son back. I don't give a damn if he's Dwayne Wade. I don't give a damn that Gabrielle Union is his wife. They're both boo-boo the fool for doing this to your son. Say something. All of you parents, say something. This is not acceptable in Black culture, period. Should not be. But because Dwayne Wade is doing it, how many more children are going to come home saying that it's okay for me to be this? This is what's happening. They're promoting this and allowing this to be done to their own children. You know why Dwayne and Gabrielle are so accepting of their son? Because you know damn well that they did not like this hogwash. I know very well that they didn't, but they were both worried about their stupid ass careers, that they had to seem accepting, that they couldn't very well come out on Ellen DeGeneres and said, yeah, no, my son came home to me one day and said that he was supposed to be a girl. Ellen, I just sent him to therapy. You're not going to say that on live television. You're not going to say that in these magazines. You're not going to say that when you're doing these interviews on a basketball court. I know he's not playing no more, but the point of the matter is that he's still a significant figure, a significant celebrity that people admire, that people idolize, that people want to be like. Young men want to be like. And when they start to see that Dwayne Wade is accepting this, then what's to stop other parents from doing the same thing as opposed to getting the child treatment? So that question that I asked myself at the beginning of the episode, when I said, how the hell did we get here? How the hell did we? This is how it's happened. Bruce Jenner to Laverne Cox to Charlize Theron and to Dwayne Wade. This is what's happened. This is how we got to those cases in Connecticut. This is how we got there. This is how we get there. The elitists have decided that it's okay to live in this kind of delusion, that it's okay to be a transgender, to suffer really from gender dysphoria, and to just live in it every single day, and to support the delusion. No, it's not okay. Push back against Dwayne Wade. I hope his ex-wife gets custody. I don't know if she was a wife or just baby moms, but whatever she is, go get your son. Go get him. Because they're doing tremendous damage to your son. Charlize, someone needs to go get the child away from her, period. Go get him before she does any more damage. She's abusing him. They are abusing their children. This is what I was saying in yesterday's episode, and nothing's being done to protect those kids, to protect their sanity. Nothing's being done. All because Bruce Jenner wanted to be a bitch. All because Laverne Cox came out and said that I'm strong and I can be in this industry as myself. You're not in the industry as you are because you are a man pretending to be a woman, and not the Victor Victoria style either. This is what's happening in society, and that's why we have to push back. I didn't say nothing when this story first broke about Dwayne Wade. Maybe a Facebook post here or there. I didn't say nothing about Charlize Theron and her raising her son as a daughter. I didn't say nothing then. Because again, my focus was on Donald Trump. But it's time that we start putting the same amount of emphasis that we put into supporting the president into issues like this. It is pertinent that we do so. It is. We can both support him and call these Hollywood mofos out because I'm over it. I'm over it. Liberal Christians, push back. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Homosexuals, push back. You're not the crazy ones. They are, and they're trying to lump sum you all together. Nah, push back. And conservatives, I know that this election is important, but don't you dare become the next another version of the Democrat Party where we start accepting hogwash for votes. Because I don't care how important it is, we cannot accept gender dysphoria as a gender just to beat the Democrats. I don't care. We are not normalizing this hogwash. Stop calling them transgender conservatives because they're not. Call it what it is, gender dysphoria. Call out the Hollywood elitists who normalize it, who are the reasons why places like Connecticut have trans policies in the first freaking place. And it's not isolated. It's not just in Connecticut. It's all over the country. Celebrities have normalized it. They have, and it's not okay. I don't want another privilege or entitlement that I have as a woman to be taken away because they want to be normalized. I don't give a damn what Bruce Jenner says. I don't give a damn about what Laverne Cox said. Don't let go of your principles just to win an election, conservatives. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's pertinent that you hold on to them. We were willing to give, we were willing to accept homosexuals into the fold for one reason and one reason alone, because they knew that government was getting too much and the Democrats were trying to turn our nation socialist. We can disagree and we can agree to disagree with homosexuals, but we know that they're not crazy. We know this. But to you trans people, to you cuckoo cachoo people, to you mentally ill people, to you patients, individuals who suffer from gender dysphoria, understand when I say this, you are not trans. You're mentally ill and you need to be properly treated. Period. End of story. Now, before I end this, my producer and I worked up a little something. It's basically kind of a laughing thing towards this issue, I figured, and a passionate statement or a passionate episode on a laugh. So let's roll that for them, okay? There's a sad sort of clanging from the clock in their brain and the bells in their frontal lobe. And down in the grassroots a concerned little bird is popping out to say cuckoo, 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 cachoo. There's a sad... My name is Asia Branch. I am your host of Mind Out, Mind Up. Tune in next week for the next episodes, and I will be glad to speak with all of you then. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye now.